In this video, we are the only YouTube channel that is testing the cheapest EV you can buy, designed for cities in rural Wales. We're in Tregaron, the middle of nowhere, lots of country roads. We're going to try and find something approaching a town. Don't worry about that, but ultimately what we're doing is putting the cheapest EV on the market through its paces. Now, a lot of channels have focused on the top extreme model, the one that has all the toys, but this is your base model. If they still called it an Access, they would. It's in white, which is the only colour you don't have to pay for. It is the base Expression model, but it does have the 64 brake horsepower motor, so it's got a bit of oomph about it. But we're really looking forward to it. We've had our eye on these since they came out. They've been for sale in Western Europe for a couple of years now, but they have finally, after the facelift, brought this model out in the UK. So let's dig into the details. So one thing we see a lot in the comments, probably because of the nature of our channel, is we don't want an EV with all the bells and whistles. We want something that's nice and simple, nice and light, and this is it. So I hope you're all going to rush out and buy one. It's still got manual rear windows. It's not got too much in the way of fancy kit. There are parking sensors, but no cameras. There's no big screen on the dashboard, but there is somewhere to clip your phone. It is nice, basic and lightweight, which is why you can get away with only having a 26.8 kilowatt hour battery. That's only mildly bigger than the original Nissan Leafs that were sold here back in sort of 2010. But it gives a range, a realistic range of probably between 100 and 120 miles. You're going to be closer to 100 this time of year, but going up to 120 in the summer months. 140 is the claimed range, but you know, that is in absolutely perfect circumstances, and you don't necessarily want to be going from 100% to naught all the time. In terms of charging, if you plug it into your home charger, if you have one put in, this will charge up in about 4 hours. Just on the regular 13 amp plug, it's going to be about 11 hours from flat to empty. You can use rapid chargers, but it's not very quick on the rapid chargers. But that just still claims about 20 minutes to get from 20 to 80%, which is the meat of the battery pack. But it's actually based on an Indian car that Renault were selling in India and building there, but it's built in China. It even has Linglong tyres, the 165 section skinny little tyres. And we think, despite everyone claiming this is the perfect city car, we reckon this is very good as a rural car. So let's have a look inside and we'll tell you more. So first of all, we have an entirely standard key. Very large it is as well. It's a shame it doesn't fold down, but it is a cheap car. We've got remote boot release, and we've got central locking as well. It makes nice proper central locking noises. And beeps occasionally at you. Oh, because I've got the lights on apparently. That's why the lights are on, because I left the lights on, it seems. Well, yeah, I'll take off my jacket and we'll show you inside. Yeah, there are certain elements that definitely make you realise you're in a cheap car, but it is cheap. The base model with the 44 brake horsepower motor is just £15,000, and already I've seen those online with pre-registered condition, like 10 miles on the clock, £12,000 for a brand new car, effectively. That is impressive. It goes up to about 17 grand for the top model. But I think this is the one to go for, frankly. It's just nice, simple. We've still got manual mirror controls. Yes, the front windows are electric. The rears are still manual. They've got driver aids because they have to. This is a car. Unlike a Citroen Ami, which is a quadricycle and is about as safe as jumping out of an aeroplane with no parachute, yeah, this is a lot better. It only has one NCAP star, but still it is a proper car with airbags and side impact protection and all that sort of goodness. And a certain amount of the requirement is that it has some of the driver tech, which apparently you can turn off quite easily. There are apparently buttons for that. I've got a very manual headlamp adjustment control down here. Dacia always likes to put it by your knee for some reason. And we've got this little... you can't really call it a lever. It's almost like a switch. Not quite knob shaped.
No, nub.
Oh, nub. We'll call this the gear nub. So that's your selection for reverse, neutral, drive, and then with extra braking in your B mode. So it's extra regenerative braking. Lots of storage everywhere. We've got a little shelf here We've got a glove box under here. That's actually a decent size. Well, it goes on forever. So you can get quite a big bottle in there, I should think. Storage in the door pockets as well. Big tray down here with what looks like something to hook your bags on so they don't rattle around. 12-volt power outlet down there as well. And then we've got this, which is a spring-loaded cover to hold a mobile phone. So this is particularly clever. You lift that up, you put your phone in, and there you go. Now you've got a touchscreen built into your car. And not only that, you can hook the car up to the Bluetooth, so it'll play your music through some sort of stereo, I assume, and there are buttons that will let you control the music and everything as if it was built-in tech. This is a nice idea. I really like this. That isn't going to go out of date because you update your phone every few years, so you've always got the latest gadgetry going on. Even if you don't use anything on the car, you still use navigation and everything there. And there is a little charge point, a little Type-C charger in there as well. So that is a good idea. I like that a lot. In terms of the driving position, it's a little compact, but not too bad. This is a very small car. We've got the unusual hexagonal steering wheel. We've got lots of buttons, including cruise control, which I say is a little optimistic, especially around here. We've got a nice blanking plug there. I don't know what that is. Maybe that's electric mirrors on the higher spec version. Standard Renault stalks. It's all very standard, really. We've got a little interior light up there. SOS button. Let's not press that. Tiny little sun visors that actually fill the space quite nicely, but no mirror on the passenger side. Again, reminding us that this is austerity motoring, but I generally like it. I like this splash of colour here. What I don't like is this. There's a reason cars don't have white binnacles on their dashboards, and it's that they reflect really badly in the windscreen, so it's right in my eye line. I think especially in the summer, that would be very, very irritating. But let's go and see how we get on in the back. Right, getting into the rear, it's a little tight, but compared to the electric Fiat 500, at least there are doors. And behind me, there is actually something approaching legroom. My legs are touching the back of the seat, but it's not too bad. Adjustable head restraints, of course, but I am struggling a little bit for headroom back here. I'm 5'9", and the roof comes down really deep down the side here. I don't know if it's because there's airbags kind of hidden in the way, but it's a little claustrophobic. But the window goes down quite nicely, and of course, being a simple winder, you don't need the car on to open the window, so that's quite nice. And it's only a 4-seater, and the rear seat is not split. So you're either carrying passengers or you're carrying luggage. Incidentally, there is a van version available that obviously does without the rear seats if you want a little eco load hauler. So we're just taking the rear styling, and I like it a great deal. I think it's very characterful. Some models have all sorts of jazzy stuff going on, but again, this is base model brilliance. But it's electric release on the boot, and it's not a bad size boot, 308 litres, I believe, and obviously extends if you fold the seat down. Got the cable here. Some models can have extra stowage. We've got more storage under the back here. Obviously no spare tyre, although there is probably room, you could have one if you wanted. But yeah, it's a nice practical little car, I think. Did that shut properly? No. Right, and you start it like a conventional car, so foot on the brake and twist the key and it fires into life. We've got 94% of battery at the moment. It reckons 103 miles of range. Obviously that's going to vary with use, but yeah, you got just enough information in front of you on this little screen here without being a bit overburdening with the tech. So all we do is into drive. We're actually in B mode because I selected that earlier. You can just pull this slightly, and that's now D, and that's B, and we're ready to move away. We shall apply some of that. I'm going to have to put the air conditioning on, or we shall not be able to see where we're going. And pop the rear wiper on as well, and away we go, all nice and quietly. And yeah, it's nice and peaceful, as you kind of expect, really. The noisiest thing is the windscreen wiper. Visibility a little compromised, as per most modern cars, by huge chonking great pillars, but you know, they do kind of offer protection, I guess. You can hear it humming on the outside. It plays a fake noise so people can hear you coming. And then once you're up to about 20 miles an hour, I think it then stops doing that. But in B mode, you can kind of one pedal drive it. And oh yes, must shout out to the pantograph windscreen wiper, of course, which offers a good sweeping performance with jets mounted thusly. So yeah, very satisfying, no triangle of doom. Much smaller wiper on the back for the much smaller rear window, of course. Oh, and now I'm getting beeped at because I'm speeding by 2 miles an hour there. It's a little annoying that it does that, but I suppose it is quite useful. And as annoying beeps go, it's quite a subtle one. Big question is a little electric car like this absolutely lost at sea on electric roads? On country roads? We're about to find out, because this one is about to get much faster. We first get to take our speed up to 30, and then we get to fully unleash the 64 brake horsepower. Oh yeah. Still thinks we're in a 20 limit. And we're doing 60 miles an hour. I think the official 0 to 60 is about 18 seconds, which is, you know, not really quick, but it's amazing how that torque propels you down the road. It feels a lot quicker than it sounds. So you got some decent punch for overtaking, but obviously you need to give it a bit more thought than if you were in a Tesla or a Jaguar I-Pace or something with actual power. But most people don't want that much power. This is more than enough for most. And the beauty of it being a small car is it just fits on these country lanes really, really well. Now these are Welsh country lanes, so the roads are generally in very, very good condition. But yeah, it doesn't feel out of place at all. It handles really quite nicely. I mean, it has got power steering, but it uses it to keep the steering really nice and direct, so you don't have to turn it very much when you're cornering. I'm sure dynamically it is not exactly world beating, but you wouldn't expect that in the cheapest electric car you can buy. And I think actually I think this is actually a bit better than I anticipated. There is a fair bit of wind and road noise, but again, you know, price point, people, price point. Well, here we are in Aberystwyth, where it is also raining. Marvellous. And I found I've had to set the speed limiter to 20 miles an hour, because trying to manually hold it, as soon as you go 1-2 mile an hour over, the car starts beeping at you. And actually, that speed limit warning is becoming a bit of a bone of contention, because it's not very good at knowing what the speed limit is. We've had it beeping at us when we've been going down a 60 mile an hour road. At one point it thought we were doing 20, but even when the display is saying 60, it's beeping a warning, even though we were only doing 37. So I don't quite understand what's going on. But yeah, having the limiter set to 20 just takes all the stress away. If you really plonk your foot down, it will break through the limit. But if you're just treating the pedal gently, you can just drive around and not have to worry about 20 mile an hour. But yeah, this really is what the car was made for. Prospering around town and city centres. And it's good for that. It's got nice mirrors, they're a good size. They offer a good view of what's going on behind. The ride seems okay. It's a little noisy. You can always hear the suspension at work. But again, cheap car, folks. Overall, I think the refinement levels are very good. This centre console is a little annoying. It's quite hard and it's resting right on my left ankle. But it's hardly the first modern car that's provided frustration in that degree. It's just quite often a thing, is the centre consoles don't seem to suit. Especially in cars which were originally designed for left-hand drive. It's taken a good couple of years to get a right-hand drive version available. It works very well in an urban environment. There is actually an FM radio fitted, we discovered as well, because the traffic alert went off, which gave rather a shock, and then we realised we don't know how to turn the radio off, so we've just had to mute it. We have got the standard Renault stereo controls down here as well, so we've noticed it's the base model. You have got a fair bit to play with. But yeah, this is feeling ideal. The steering's nice and light, there's no feel whatsoever, but we were having quite a lot of fun on the country roads, and it seems grippy enough. I'm sure you could break grip fairly easily if you really tried, but yeah, we found it. This is a really nice little car, and an absolute world away from the quadricycles like the Ami and the Twisty. Still want to drive a Twisty if anyone's got one. I've got a little bit of vibration from the pantograph wiper just here, minor marks off, but yeah, generally really liking it. Oh, a BYD, another electric car from China. There was talk of bringing production to Europe. I don't know if Dacia are going to go ahead on that. But yeah, perfectly at home around town. I've got one grumble. I mean, that's the rear wiper. It's not too bad for the size of the rear window, but look at that high level brake light. It's kind of right where I want to be looking at cars coming up behind me down the road. That is a minor annoyance, but maybe it's more expensive to fit it on the outside. Maybe there isn't anywhere to fit it on the outside. I don't know, but yeah, mild annoyance there. But in terms of heater, the heater seems to work really well. You can come forward again now. So we're nice and cozy in here. We're not freezing cold. We're down to 73% battery, and unfortunately I've lost our mileage information, so I've no idea how far we've driven to get down to 73%. But I certainly wasn't sparing the horses. Come to the 40, I haven't quite worked out how to disengage that. I suppose I just press that button. Oh yeah, there we go. And that speed limit change, it reacted quite quickly, but we've found that isn't always the case. So you've got to accelerate out of a village, bing, bing, because it still thinks it's 20. But it has got lane departure, and I don't know if it just isn't recognising these roads as lanes, but it doesn't seem to have gone off at all. It's occasionally flashed a little yellow light at me. So yeah, you've got various menus here. So we're on BBC Radio 2 at the moment, and I can jump across, so that will be your Bluetooth menu. I'll have to bring the camera in a bit closer to see. And then we've got Bluetooth connections and vehicle settings. See what's in there. Oh yeah, so there's all sorts we can play with in here. So that's our units, exactly what we want. Vehicle. Oh yeah, see, we can turn off the rear wiper that automatically comes on when you reverse. Traction control there is, and that seems to be about that. And then we got the driver assist. So let's go and see what's turned on at the moment. So lane departure is just a vibration, that was saying there. So, and you can adjust the sensitivity. It's got active braking, so it will stop if it senses you're going to have a collision. And again, you can active braking sensibility. Dash line correction, limit change sound, so you can change the sound of the speed limit, and presumably you could turn that off. That would be nice. So yeah, there's all sorts of things you can muddle about with if you're so inclined. But I found what I'm really after, and that's the average miles per kilowatt hour. And it's showing us 3.4. This is still a young car living out in the hills of mid Wales, so that is a bit lower than I would hope for. I would hope generally in use you'd be seeing more like 4, but again, we've got the heater running. That's going to be using a certain amount of power at this time of year. Well, I have to say, I think that is quite a good little package. I really like the styling of it. I think it's a really nice looking thing, and it's really nice to drive as well. Actually, I was worried it would feel out of its depth on faster roads, and it just doesn't really. It's not perfect for long distance because of the slower charging times, But I think this little car has a lot to offer. I know, don't come at me with, oh, well, I need to do 200 miles every half a day. In that case, don't buy an electric car full stop. But for most people, who the average Dacia reckons is 23 miles a day, people actually drive their cars. It's absolutely perfect. You're not even going to charge it every day. But yeah, very, very nice little car. Very pleased to have encountered it. Huge thanks to the private owners of this car. It's not a Dacia UK car. This belongs to some people who were good enough to get in touch, and yeah, we're very grateful for the opportunity, and thank you for watching. We shall see you in a future video. Farewell. Can I have my phone back so I can look at Dacias on the internet, please?